everyone! So for today's Halloween series video, I'm using CC Designs Mummy Monkey image, and I stamped it twice onto some 110-pound Copic quality cardstock with My Favorite Things Black Licorice Hybrid ink. I thought while I was doing this I might as well do a couple at a time, and I'm going to make a couple more mini cards because I'm on quite the little kick with these lately. They're nice to kind of build up a stash of, and then I can just toss them in my kids' lunches when, you know, it's closer to Halloween. So I'm coloring them in with my Copic markers, and I just started with the bodies, and really simple, E31, E33, and then E35, and only using the 31 and the 33 on the center of his face and then the little centers of his, well, hands, paws, whatever. Just to give that little bit of definition. And I'm not being too careful about going outside the lines because I'm planning on fussy cutting these images out. And then anything that goes over onto the little bandages, I'm going to push out with my light gray Copic markers. So really easy to do. I love mummy images for Halloween mostly because they're so simple to color. Like, not much effort required at all. So once I got the little bodies colored, again, working lightest to darkest and then going back with my lightest marker and quickly blending them. And then I just took my R20 and added a little bit of pink for his cheeks and the insides of his ears and his little hands there. And then for the bandages, I'm just using C1. It's light enough I can use that to kind of push out any of the little bit of color that went over onto the bandages to kind of clean it up. And it just gives a little bit of shading. And then I took my C2, which is just slightly darker, and used that on any of the areas where there's kind of like the lines and all that, just to give it that little bit of definition, but no effort really required at all with images like this, which right now is perfect. Still trying to get over all of us getting sick lately. We all got horrible chest colds. My husband got pneumonia. It's been a gong show lately. So simple is the way to go with everything lately. So once I was done coloring them, I fussy cut them all out. I was going to coat the edges like I always do with a black marker, and then decided not to even bother because no one's going to notice. And these are just going to go in my kids' lunch boxes, like I said. So yeah, I did decide to add a little bit of shimmer to them though, just because I could and it's fun. So I took my clear Wink Estella and painted over all the bandages, so you can just see that little bit of shimmer it gave them. So really fun. And then I just took my white Sharpie poster paint pen to quickly dot the white back in his little eyes, because I just colored over that with the Copic. It was easier to color over and then add the white later than to try and avoid that area. And then I've shown this in Halloween videos before. I don't know why. I always want to do this with mummy images. But I took 2 squares of black Doodlebug textured cardstock, and then I just took my Tim Holtz craft knife and cut a very uneven X in the middle of both. It doesn't need to be perfect at all because I'm going to tear it up like you see here, really unevenly, really jagged, curly edges, so it looks like the mummy is busting through the cardstock. And I like the Doodlebug cardstock for this because, one, it's a little bit thinner than the standard heavy, like 110-pound weight that I use. Plus, it's got just a little bit of a lighter core to it, so it gives that extra bit of, you know, texture and definition with no effort. So once I got those all torn up, I'm just using my new Doodlebug Ghouls and Goodies pattern paper because I love it. And it's perfect for little images like this and cards for my kids. So I thought the candy paper was, of course, perfect again for this card. So I just cut 2 squares of it just slightly smaller than the black cardstock so that it's got a fun little candy background, and just adhered it along the edges with my Tombow Monomulti. And then in my stash, I had this old grosgrain gray ribbon. I've had this stuff for years and never use it. And I thought it would I wanted something kind of a light gray to kind of mimic the little bandages. So this was perfect. So I just wrapped around little pieces around the card front and then taped down the backs with just regular Scotch tape. And then took 2 separate pieces and tied little bows on there. So really easy. Fiddled with the bow a bit just because I'm OCD, and then trim the ends off with some sharp scissors. And then to adhere the mummies, I just applied just a piece of foam tape and decided to make them look like they were like coming out from the cardstock. So I put one of their feet kind of behind the torn edges there. So kind of fun. I'd thought about popping these ones up on those action wobbles like I did with my last little set of mini cards. But these were too small, again, to fit on those action. I wish action wobbles would come in like a smaller size. That would make life so much easier. So I didn't have the time or the energy to sit and like cut down the action wobbles because they're so thick. But that would have looked so cute. I really wanted to do that. That would have looked adorable. But it's a lot of work to cut those things down because the plastic is so thick on them. So I just did not even bother with these cards. But I've got it in mind. Hopefully I can come up with another image to use those on. But anyway, I used white cardstock as my base, and I'd cut it to 3.5 by 7 inches and then scored it 3.5. So these are 3.5 inch mini cards. Only because I could get away with making a little bit bigger so I could do all that tearing for the front there. And these are the biggest size I could make to make little mini envelopes, which I'll get to in a minute. I used Memento's gray flannel ink to stamp the little mummy again on the inside. And then I had this sentiment from an old set of mine. This is the Autumn Sentiment set. And there's this little wrapped with love sentiment, which I thought was completely perfect. And again, for my kids. So it just all worked. So done all that, so the cards are done, and then I grabbed more Doodlebug pattern paper from the same pack, and a 6 by 6 inch sheet of pattern paper will make a card, or will make an envelope that'll fit a 3.5 inch card. So that way, that was the biggest card I could make to fit an envelope made with this size pattern paper, and I don't have anything bigger than that, so this worked perfectly. So you just follow the measurements. So with that, it was lined up at 3 inches, and then go all the way around, scoring it. And then I rounded all the edges with the same little punch there, just to finish off the envelope. And then it's just a matter of adhering all the flaps together, which is super easy. I just used my ATG gun and made sure I wasn't making it so that all the little characters are going to be upside down on the outside. So they'll be on an angle. That's totally fine. So got everything folded down and then adhere the flaps together, and that's all there was to it. So now I've got a couple more fun little lunchbox notes for my kids with little envelopes, and they're big enough I can, you know, slip in a little Halloween treat when the time comes, which of course I'm sure my kids will get a kick out of more of the candy than the card. But really quick and fun. So as always, there will be a link below the video to my blog post and links to all the supplies used, so just check out the info box below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.